posted recently the most important hires in your law firm aren't the lawyers, they're your staff. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, so that one went kind of semi-viral on LinkedIn. And I picked up all these followers who were not lawyers, which is not really my target demographic. But like, so what I learned from that is that message really resonates with all of the paralegals and assistants and marketing people in your firm, because they all feel underappreciated the way that that got shared and reposted and liked by people that were not lawyers. So here's my thesis, Chris, is the lawyers and the legal work is important, but most of us are going to guide a case to just about the same result. So a competent injury lawyer is going to be within 10% of the result of any other competent injury lawyer, I think. And the client never knows the difference. I spend a lot of time with real estate guys, and I analogize to realtors. They're never going to know that had they hired a different lawyer or a different realtor to sell their house or settle their case, what the result would have been and how long it would have taken them. But what they do know is how they felt about that experience. And they're comparing their experience with your law firm, not only to their experience with other law firms, because they have almost none. Most people have one case, two cases, three cases through the course of their lifetime. But they're comparing that with how they're treated by every other business and industry with which they interact. And so the way that I approach hiring and staffing in my firm is that I want people to take care of my clients, and I want to take care of my staff, because I know that if they're well taken care of and they feel respected and they have, some ability to operate within a set of boundaries to get to the right result for our clients, then the clients are going to be taken care of. And after onboarding, and until the end of the case, 95% of the interaction is going to be with my staff. It's not going to be with me. And so that's why it's just so critically important to have staff that cares, that doesn't pick up the phone and go law offices, right? Like there's still law firms that are barking law offices into the phone when you call them. And if that's the client experience that you're delivering for your clients, you're not going to generate referrals and you're not going to generate continued business. So that's why I just think it's so critically important to hire into those administrative assistant and paralegal and secretarial roles and do it well. And it's as important, if not more important, than it is to hire the next smart lawyer.
That's a little bit of the divergent type thinking. I always hear something like, clients come first, but you're saying, hey, if you put your employees first, then they're going to treat your clients well.
Yeah, I think that's totally backwards. I think, I mean, and we can get into this if you like, but I'm building a law firm that supports my life and not the other way around. And so, yes, you hear clients come first, but I just think that's wrong. So like that Paul Hastings memo that went around about the client is always right and the client comes, if the client's always right, what are you there for, right? So yeah, clients are important. We're going to take a good care of them, but my staff comes before my clients. Like I have a rule: if you are rude or mean to my staff one time, you have a conversation with me, and two times you're not a client anymore. The client doesn't come before my staff and before my happiness and my family's well-being and mental health.
I've been on the same, looking kind of introspectively, as when I've had a client and they didn't treat my staff right, and whenever I took action to, hey, respectfully part ways, I know my staff really appreciated that. They felt like I cared about them. I know I gotta think that it helps with the retention, and it's not always about, it's about protecting them too.
Yeah, and we spend so much time and effort finding these people, number one, and then training them, that if you lose them to somebody because they don't feel respected by you or by your clientele, then you've got to go back and recreate the wheel and start all over again. And it's so much easier to let go of that one unpleasant client than it is to let a handful of them build up and run, your star paralegal out of the office.
Absolutely. I kind of want to circle back to something you just said previously, and I want to lean into it. I am going to get this wrong, what you just said previously, but you said you're designing the firm to fit your lifestyle and you're creating it how you want it to work, something along that lines. Let's talk about that too, because most people, they create a business that's just solely about profit. They have their goals, but they don't look at the lifestyle, because you spend so much time in the business, and it's a job. It's a job that they're working instead of a
Yeah.
lifestyle. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so this is it's a principle that many lawyers get wrong, and many business owners get wrong. Is, you go out on your own from a firm because you want to make more money, or because you want to have more time, or whatever, and then we structure the firm around our skill set and our unique abilities, and then we end up doing everything, and we've created for ourselves a high paying job, but not really a business, because who could we sell it to, or who could we transition the law firm to in the long run? And so, the approach that my dad, Ben, and I have taken here is, how can we position ourselves in a job, because, to be sure, it still is a job and we're still doing the work, where we are putting the finishing touches on a very finely made product, but we don't have to be involved in the day-to-day, every single conversation with the client, the preparation of the demand package. So a lot of that stuff can be systemized, both in-house and with virtual assistants, where we're coming in and just putting the finishing touches on that. And Chris, for me, it's all about, one of the things that I did to get there is creating this list of heavy, medium, and light. So, I spent a month where every time I was doing a task, I would come over to my whiteboard and sort it into heavy, medium, and light. How did it feel when I was doing it? And then after that month was over, how can I take the things that are in the heavy column that I don't want to do, that I feel resistance towards doing, and transition them to somebody else? So for me, I don't necessarily like talking to clients in the middle of the case when the treatment is unclear, because I don't have answers most of the time. They expect me to have answers, but if your doctor doesn't have an answer for you about where it's going, I'm not going to either, right? And so how can I transition to that? Somebody that'll be empathetic and will make that client feel heard, won't give them an answer because my staff won't do that, but can help with that process and then take it off of my hands. And so that's just a way to focus your time and energy on the things that you love doing, that are really high value leverage for you, and offload everything else to somebody who enjoys doing it, because there's somebody that likes doing that stuff, number one, and who's better at it than we are, number two.